So let us do revision of Forex. First, rate. How the rate is denominated for foreign currency? It is 71.25 / 71.50 rupees per dollar. This is a rate of rupees or dollar. This is a rate of dollar. This is termed as a bid rate. This is termed as ask rate. This is a rate at which customer can purchase a dollar, or it is also termed as a purchasing rate. Sir, purchase means bid, agreed, but the names are given from the point of view of bank. Is it all? So there is a confusion in this particular name. Is it all? This is the rate at which customer can sell dollar, or it is also termed as selling rate. Is it all right? This is concept of a foreign currency rate. Is it all right? Number 2. Forward rate in foreign currency. Is it all right? So if I give you this rate, 3 months of forward rate is 81.25 / 82.10 rupees per pound. What does this mean? If you want to enter into forward purchase contract of 3 months a pound, purchase, this rate will be used, sale, this rate will be used. So purchase contract 3 months a pound can be purchased at 82.10 rupees per pound. What does this mean? The contract will be entered today, which is a compulsory contract, and at the end of 3 months you will have to compulsory purchase 1 pound at the rate of 82.10. Also, if you want to enter into forward sale contract, 3 months of pound, you can enter it at 81.25 rupees per pound. Is it alright? So these are forward rates. Is it alright? These are actual forward rates. I should write down this is actual forward rates, and this is just understanding of actual forward rates. Third concept was direct and indirect quote. If your home country is India, which is normally the case, and your home currency is rupees, if the quote is given is something like this, 70/71 rupees per dollar, is it alright? This is a rate of dollar in terms of rupees. This is rupees 10 per pen. This is a rate of pen in India, which will be termed as direct quote. But this is direct quote in India. Why the name is given? If you want to convert foreign currency into Indian currency, that is, if you want to find out what is the value of $1 lakh, you can directly multiply it. You don't need to divide it, you can directly multiply it. So it is termed as direct quote in India. But if the rate given is something like this, 0.20/0.30 pound per rupees. In India, this will be termed as indirect quote. In India. Why? If someone gives you pound, if your pound is payable, you cannot directly convert this into rupees just by multiplying. You will have to inverse the rate. Sorry. This was a direct and indirect quote as far as India is concerned. Sorry. Next is converting direct into indirect. Or indirect into direct. Let me take one rate. Say rate is 71.25, 71.40 rupees per dollar. This is direct quote in India. For some reason, I want indirect quote in India. Can I convert this into indirect quote? Yes. How I can convert this into indirect quote? This will become bid rate. This will become ask rate. The rate name will be changed from dollar per rupees. Then only it will become indirect. Is it alright? This will become indirect in India. How to do it? Bid will become denominator of ask and ask will become denominator of bid. So this will become 71.40 and this will become 71.25. Sir, how to convert indirect into direct? The same formula will be used. If you want to convert rupees per dollar from dollar into dollar per rupees, the same process is used. If this was dollar per rupees and you want to convert it into rupees per dollar, same process will be used. Converting direct quote into indirect quote. Sorry. Then we went to fifth point, which is cross currency. Say one rate is available in India, which is say rupees per dollar. Let me even write it down. Suppose a 71/72 is available in India, which is rupees per dollar. Got it. And there is another rate available in India, which is 0.95/0.96 pound per dollar. This both rates are available in India. This is a rate of dollar in terms of pound. Got it. The problem is I want rupees per pound. I want to convert my pound into rupees. So which rate is required? Rupees per pound is required. Which two rates are available? Rupees per dollar, pound per dollar. Rupees I want in numerator, it is in numerator. Dollar will remain in denominator. I don't want dollar in my required rate. So dollar should be cancelled. Dollar cannot be cancelled if I multiply this. So I need to take this in numerator and take this in denominator. Actually, I need to convert this rate from direct into indirect. Is it alright? Or I need to convert this rate from pound per dollar to dollar per pound. Now, if I multiply this two rate, can I cancel dollar? The answer is yes. But before that, I need to get this rate, that is dollar per pound. How to get dollar per pound rate? 1 divided by 0.95. No. When you convert direct into indirect, ask will become denominator of bid. Bid will become in denominator of ask. Sorry. This is which rate? Dollar per pound. Now can I multiply this rate? The answer is yes. Sorry. Rupees per dollar 71, 72 should be multiplied with dollar per pound. This is dollar per pound rate. 1 divided by 0.96. 1 divided by 0.95. And this rate, see, this is rupees per dollar rate and this is dollar per pound rate. Dollar will get cancelled. This rate will be rupees per pound. Start it. This is nothing but cross currency. When a currency, say pound in our case, is not directly quoted in India, from other rates we can quote it into India and that will be termed as cross currency rates. Next is discount and premium on currency. Discount and premium on currency. I'll give you two simple rates. Spot rate is rupees 80 per dollar and 1 year forward rate is rupees 88 per dollar. In a forward market of 1 year, dollar is higher valued in terms of rupees, then dollar is at a premium and rupees is at a discount. So rupee value is increasing, rupees 80, rupees 88. No, it is not rupees value, it is dollars value. Dollar is at premium and rupees is at discount. Alright. So I can understand this from this, but if you want to find out exact percentage per annum, you need to use this. Forward minus spot divided by spot multiplied by 100. I will be getting answer in terms of percentage. As this is 1 year, I will be directly getting per annum. If it is for 3 months, I need to convert it into per annum. Alright. Let me find out in this case, it is 88 minus 80 upon 80 multiplied by 100 is 8%. As this was for 1 year, this answer is per annum. Sir, if this was for 3 months only, then this answer would be per 3 months. I need answer per annum. So 8% into 12 divided by 3. That is nothing but 32% per annum. Alright. But the formula which will be used is this. If this answer is coming positive, dollar is at a premium. This rate is of dollar. So dollar is at premium. If this answer is negative, then dollar is at discount. This is discount or premium on foreign currency. Next, what we learned was swap points. Sometimes a forward rate is given in some technical manner which is termed as swap point. Say spot rate is a 71.25 slash 71.30 rupees per dollar. Two types of swap points are given. One is 3 months of forward swap points is 25 slash 30. One more rate is given is 1 year forward swap points. This both are given today itself, which is nothing but 25. Let me take another figure. It is 45 slash 30. They have not given 3 months forward rate and 1 year forward rate directly, but they have given it indirectly. Is it alright? I will be finding out 3 months forward rate. 3 months of forward rate will be is equal to spot 71.25, 71.30. Now the problem is the swap point should be added or deducted. If they are in ascending order, it should be added. If they are in descending order, they should be deducted. This is a normal rule. That's it all. They are in ascending order, increasing order, I will add it. Plus 25 plus 30. No. This should be added to last two numbers which are available. So what will be added is 0.25 and 0.30. Sir, written is 25 and 30. Still, what will be added is 0.25 and 0.30. See, if the rate was given was 71.253. What will be added is 0.025. It will be added in last two. If these are two digits, it will be added in last two numbers. This is 71.50 slash 71.60 will be nothing but 3 months forward. What will be 1 year forward? Spot rate 71.25, 71.30. This is nothing but 1 year forward. Is it all? Should I add it? Should I subtract it? 1 year swap point, but they are decreasing in order. So I should subtract it. Minus 0.45. Same thing. Last two numbers it will be deducted. Minus 0.30. This will be 70.80 slash 71.00 is nothing but 1 year forward rate. It is 70.80, 71, which is nothing but 1 year forward rate. This is how you find out forward rates from swap points. Again, increasing in order add, decreasing in order you should subtract it. Next, interest rate parity theorem. And if you replace interest to inflation, it will be purchasing power parity theorem. There is no difference in it. What does interest rate parity theorem says? The price of a forward should be equal to spot plus interest of home currency. How to add interest of home currency? 1 plus interest rate of home currency. P into 1 plus I will give you answer of principal plus interest. So I have added interest of home currency. Divided by 1 plus interest rate of foreign currency. This is a market price of forward. The answer is no. This theorem says that this should be the price of forward. This should be the price of forward. Is it alright? It is a theoretical price of forward. If this is not a price of forward, sir, then what? If this is not actually the price of forward, then what we need to do to find out price of forward? Try to concentrate. Then there might be two cases. Market price of forward is greater than theoretical price of forward, or market price of forward is less than theoretical price of forward. In both the cases, we can draft arbitrage process. In both the cases, we can draft arbitrage process, and a person can earn arbitrage gain if theoretical price and actual price are not equal. How to draft arbitrage process? See, market price of forward, this is the rate at which you do actual dealing. is less. Whenever the price is less, you should purchase in forward market. As far as a dollar is concerned, say the underlying foreign currency is dollar. That's all right. Purchase of in forward market dollar. That's all right. Please understand the reverse situation will be spot. That's all right. Sale in spot market. What? Dollar. That's all right. For selling a dollar in spot, you will have to borrow a dollar. So here you will be borrowing dollar. Interest will be charged in dollar. You will repay principal plus interest in dollar. Yes. How you will repay? You might have actually purchased the forward contract of this amount only. This amount will be same. So it will be automatically done. But for actually purchasing this in forward market after 3 months or 6 months, you will have to pay rupees. After 3 months or 6 months, whatever forward is available. You have borrowed dollar, so you can sell a dollar in spot. You will receive rupees, which you can invest in India. You will be getting principal plus interest in terms of rupees. You will be receiving rupees. Believe me, receiving will be more than paying, and difference is nothing but arbitrage profit. Difference is nothing but arbitrage profit. And if market price of forward is greater than theoretical price of forward, see, the actual dealing will be done with this rate. So what will be done is, if market price of forward is higher, in market this forward is overvalued, sale dollar in forward market. Whatever you are doing in forward market, reverse you will be doing in spot. Purchase dollar in spot market. That's all right. If you purchase a dollar in spot market, you'll have to pay in rupees. That's all right. Then for paying this in rupees, you should borrow loan in rupees. That's all right. Repay principal plus interest in rupees. What you will be paying is in rupees. Purchase a dollar in spot. So now you are having dollar with you in pocket. What you are having is dollar. Is correct. So you can invest in dollar. Receive principal plus interest in terms of dollar. And believe me, this amount you will be selling in forward market, because forward contract is entered today. So this amount you will be selling today. And the settlement will be done by delivery, and what you will be receiving is rupees. You will be receiving more than paying rupees, and the profit will be termed as your arbitrage gain. Alright. This is interest rate parity theorem, as well as these two processes. Understand, this is exhaustive process. Either market price of forward will be lower or market price of forward will be higher. These are the two exhaustive process which is used to find out arbitrage gain. These are arbitrage process. That's all right. Yes. Next one. 9. This is nothing but hedging of foreign currency exposure. risk. Normally, this happens for two persons, either importer or exporter. Importer are the persons whom foreign currency is payable. Exporters are the persons for whom foreign currency is receivable. So even if I am explaining you from the term of importer or exporter, you can apply this for any person to whom foreign currency is receivable or foreign currency is payable. So I'll give you an example. If I have borrowed in foreign currency, I will be paying interest in foreign currency. I might not be importer, but still I am paying in foreign currency. Same concept of importer will be used. So let us divide this hedging of foreign currency exposure risk into two parts. First part is for importer. For importer, foreign currency, say dollar. Let me take foreign currency as dollar. Dollar will be payable in future. Dollar will be payable in future. What are the various options by which you can hedge your risk? Because in future the dollar price might increase and you want to hedge this particular risk, increase of dollar price you want to hedge. Option number one, keep exposure open. Don't do anything. Say this dollar is payable after 3 months. After 3 months, you need to see what is the price of dollar, convert it into rupees and just pay that money. Is it alright? Is the foreign exchange currency exposure risk hedge? The answer is no. In this case, it is not hedge. What you can do in number 2 position? You can purchase forward contract, which is nothing but compulsory contract. So your rate is fixed. Say forward contract is 80 rupees per dollar, then after on due date you will end up paying 80 rupees per dollar. Is it alright? We have already done some of the questions of forward, so you know how to apply this forward rate. Is it alright? Purchase forward contract, forward rate will be given. Is it alright? Or future contract. Again, it is a compulsory contract. The only difference will be lot size. In future, there will be lot size. In forward, normally there will not be a lot size. Otherwise, the exposure or the technique remains same as far as purchasing forward contract is, forward contract or purchasing future contract is concerned. Number 3, third way. You can enter into option position. You want to get an option to purchase a dollar. Call. You want this option long. Which position you should enter into? You should enter into long call position. You should enter into long call position. Say long call is available at a strike price of rupees 80 with a premium of rupees 1 per dollar. Can any student help me out? How much maximum you will end up paying per dollar on maturity? How much maximum you will end up paying? Mac?
81.
81. If the rate becomes 90, then Mac?
I will pay 81.
Still you will pay 81 because right now you are having an option. So in this case, what your maximum paying is 81. I am talking maximum. If the price is 50, you will end up paying 51 only. 50 in the market and 1 as a premium. Is it alright? So this is the position which you can take if you want to hedge the risk as far as importer is concerned and payable is concerned. Is it alright? Fourth is MMO. money market operation. Is it alright? See what you require. Say this is required payable after 3 months. That's right. So you require dollar after 3 months. It is payable to someone. Is it alright? Then draft your position in such a manner that you receive also this many dollars. I'm drafting the position in such a manner that I will be receiving dollars. How I can receive dollar? If I invest in dollars. How I can invest in dollar? If I purchase a dollar by paying rupees. But I don't want to spend anything today. I want to spend in future, because in all these cases I will be spending in future. So if I want to compare which is the good way to hedge, I need to pay in future. So borrow in rupees. Today, what you will be paying is a principal plus interest in rupees. After 3 months. And believe me, this will be the only cash flow which will be happening. Why? Today what you are doing? Purchasing dollar. What you are doing with that purchased dollar? You are investing in dollar. What you will be doing with this invest dollar which is received with interest? You will be paying it because it was payable, so only we have entered into such position. You have purchased dollar by paying rupees, but you have not spent your own money. You have borrowed loan. So what is the only cash flow that will be happening in these 4 cases is you will be paying rupees. You will be paying rupees after 3 months. Your foreign exchange currency exposure risk is nullified, because in future you are not paying in dollar, you are paying in rupees. In this case also, in future you are not paying in dollar, you are paying in rupees. In this case also you are paying in rupees. This is not hedge, so practically we are not discussing it. These are the 4 ways in which an importer can hedge his risk. Is it alright? We are going to next point. It is 9A. Is it alright? 9 point only. Hedging of risk for exporter. Let me take the figure. Say $1 lakh is receivable after 1 year. Start it. What are the ways in which I can compare or I can hedge? Number 1. Keep exposure open. Don't do anything. Is it alright? Keep it open. Whenever after 1 year they are received, see the rate, convert it into rupees. Number 2. In this case it is not actually hedge. Number 2 is take sale forward contract of selling $1 lakh at a predetermined rate, or you can sell it in future. Is it alright? How many lots? $1 lakh divided by lot size. Say lot size is $10 per 1 lot. Then you will have to sell 10,000 lots for getting this particular answer. Alright. So either take a forward sale contract or take future sale contract. Alright. Sell it in future. Third option is option. I want an option to sell in future. I am not a writer of the option. I don't want to sell this option. I want to purchase this option. I want to get this option of selling $1 lakh at a predetermined price. If the price is higher, I will be selling it in market. If price is lower, I will be selling it in option. That type of option I want. Actually, premium will be payable. In previous case also, premium was payable. That I have not written, but I should write it down. because you are long put. Whenever it is a long position, the premium is payable. Sorry, premium is payable because you are having long position of call, of course, and in second case it is long put. Premium will be payable. If the strike price available is a 75 and premium payable is say 1 rupees, believe me, you will be minimum getting 74 rupees. How? 75 is guaranteed and 1 rupee payable is guaranteed. So 74 will be minimum amount that you will be receiving. Sir, if market price becomes 100 rupees, you will have to pay premium of 1 rupee, but then you will not exercise the option and net what you will be getting is 99. Sir, if market price is 50 rupees, then I will not sell it into market. I will sell it into option. And in option, I am having option to sell at 75. Yes. -1 because premium will be payable. Net what I will be getting is 74. Believe me, in any case, this figure will be 74 rupees per dollar. So I have made that cutoff. Minimum I will be getting 74 rupees. Maximum I can get unlimited rupees. Here, in this case, price will be fixed. Here you might not be getting benefit, but you are not having a risk also. Fourth in hedging is again money market operation. How to draft a money market operation? Please understand, your $1 lakh is a receivable. Adjust your situation in such a manner that $1 lakh becomes payable, so that this foreign currency exposure is nullified. $1 lakh will be payable, $1 lakh is receivable, dollar will get cancelled, 1 lakh will get cancelled. How $1 lakh will be payable? Take a loan in dollar. How much loan should be taken? Can anyone help me out? Stuti?
Yes, sir.
How much loan should be taken? $1 lakh?
No, sir.
Then?
Plus interest.
Minus interest.
Yeah, minus interest.
You should take how much loan? $1 lakh discounted by interest. So that this figure plus interest, which will be equal to $1 lakh payable. Alright. So if you are taking dollar of $1 lakh today, you will be having $1 lakh today. Sell. You will not be taking loan of $1 lakh. You will be taking off 1 lakh minus interest. Sell dollar. Receive rupees. But you don't want rupees today. So invest in rupees. What you will be getting after 1 year is principal plus interest in rupees you will be receiving. Please understand, in all these cases, only this cash flow will happen after 1 year. You will be receiving principal plus interest in rupees. Once you are receiving a fixed amount in rupees, there is no foreign exchange currency exposure. Sir, what about this dollar? $1 lakh has become payable, $1 lakh is receivable, it will be cancelled. You have taken a loan of $1 lakh minus interest. Agreed. That dollar you will be selling, converting it into rupees, investing in rupees, and so only you are receiving rupees at the end of 1 year. Your receivable is in rupees. Here also your receivable will be in rupees. Here also receivable will be in rupees. You have done n numbers of questions whereby you are told that which option of hedging is best, and you take an option where receivable is highest, and as far as payable is concerned, payable is lowest. Is it alright? This is hedging of a foreign currency exposure risk. Is it alright? Then we went to 10th point, which is cancellation of a forward contract. All right. Let me divide this cancellation of forward contract into two parts. Is it all right? It is purchase forward for customer and sale forward for bank. Let's start it. Three options. Number one, if cancellation is done on maturity, then on maturity the contract will be settled. Believe me, it is settlement by differences. Bank will find out because of cancellation of this contract what is a profit or loss to a bank. If it is loss to a bank, it will charge from customer. If it is a profit for the bank, it will give it back to customer. Sorry. If it is cancellation done on maturity, which two rates will be used to find out the profit or loss? All right. One is, this is also termed as a cancellation rate, which will be cancellation rate. I have explained you in short. Purchase for customer, selling rate will be used. The selling rate is ask rate of dollar on maturity. I am assuming everything is in dollar. Will be nothing but cancellation rate which will be useful for finding out cancellation charges or what will be payable by bank to. Is it all right? Which other rate will be compared is contract rate? As decided in forward? You should be using that simple logic. All right. What is the simple logic in this? Try to concentrate. If this contract is cancelled, bank will have to sell it into market rather than selling it in contract. So if bank is having a loss, it will charge from customer. If bank is having a profit, it will pay back to customer. Sorry. This was a simple thing. If you want to understand it in detail, there is one video of this in detail, cancellation on maturity. Number two is cancellation before maturity. I'll require more space in this. Cancellation before maturity. So, first I'll have to find out cancellation rate. The rate which will be compared. Believe me, it will be ask rate.
Sir, in first cancellation rate will be bid rate. We have purchased it.
You purchased selling. Yes, it is bid rate. Sorry. It is bid rate. You are correct. Thank you. It is bid rate. Why? Purchase, then selling rate. Selling rate is a bid rate. It is not ask rate. Selling rate is a bid rate. Lower rate is on left hand side. It is bid rate. Yes. So cancellation rate over here will be also bid rate. $8. But the cancellation is done before maturity. Is it alright? So which date rate should be taken? It should be the rate of relevant forward. See, what does this mean? If the forward contract was for 3 months, if the cancellation is done after 1 month, then after that 1 month, you should take 2 months of forward bid rate as a cancellation rate. On the date of cancellation, relevant forward rate should be taken as a cancellation rate. It will be compared with what? Contract rate of forward. Same thing. If bank is having a loss, it will be charging from customer. If bank is having a profit, it will be paying to customer. So practically this both are same. That's all it. Third is cancellation after maturity. Is it alright? We have done this in extension after maturity, but we can do it in cancellation after maturity. Is it alright? How this can be done? Try to concentrate. Cancellation after maturity. Is it alright? Now, what will happen first on maturity? See, on maturity, the customer is not going to bank to cancel the contract. They are going after maturity. But on maturity, bank will have to sell it. Is it alright? Because on maturity, the bank might already be entering into some purchase contract because bank set off the position. So bank has entered into purchase contract, it will have to compulsorily sell it. Is it alright? So what bank will do on maturity? It will sell in spot. It will sell this forward which it has already taken a set of position in. Is it all? Sell in spot and purchase in forward. Because see, this customer may come anytime after 5 days, after 10 days, after 11 days. So bank should be having that dollars. So it will be purchasing it in forward. Is it alright? This will be termed in swap contract. See, swap is doing anything which is in terms of exchange. You can do it with one party, sale in spot, purchase forward. You can do it individually. You can sell in spot right now in spot market and you can purchase forward in forward market. But you will be taking this position. If there is any swap loss, it will be recovered from customer. Number 2. Say you are going after 10 days. Then what bank will say is, on maturity, we were having a sale contract with you. But I need to sell it in market, so I have sold it in market. See. Is it alright? I have sold it in market. This is in market or in swap. Because I have entered into sale contract with you, this is what bank is saying. Because I have entered into sale contract with you, I have already entered a purchase contract with someone else where I have already paid the money. So purchase a contract with other party. This will be my cash outflow. If there is a net outflow, then bank will be charging this net outflow? No. Bank will be charging interest on this net outflow from the customer. Is it all? Interest from this bank outflow from customer. Number 3. What bank will charge more? Bank will charge one more thing, that is nothing but this. Cancellation charges. Sorry. It will charge cancellation charges. Same manner in this way. Is it alright? Exactly same manner in this way. Is it alright? But the rate for cancellation that will be taken is the date of cancellation, not date on maturity. Is it all? This is on maturity. This is a date of cancellation. and the same thing will be repeated. Bank will find out whether it is payable or receivable from customer, and this will be answer of nothing but cancellation of forward contract if it is purchase forward for customer, if it is sale forward for a bank. Is it alright? Let me go other way around. If it is a sale forward for customer, if it is sale forward for customer, and if it is a purchase forward for bank, anything which is a sale forward for customer will be purchase forward for a bank. Sorry. Again, three situation. If the cancellation is on maturity, if the cancellation is on maturity, alright, then what bank will find out? It will find out its profit or loss. Alright, how it will find out its profits or loss? First, it will be finding out cancellation rate. Sale contract for customer, purchase rate will be used. Purchase rate is a ask rate on maturity, because the cancellation is done on maturity. Correct. It will be compared with which rate? It will be compared with contract rate. What bank will think? I was having a chance to sell at 100 rupees per dollar. No, it is purchase for a bank. Bank was having a charge to purchase at 100 rupees per dollar. This contract is cancelled and the purchase rate in the market is say 105. Then bank is purchasing at 105 rupees. It was having a chance to purchase at 100 rupees. There is a loss for a bank. If there is loss for a bank, in our case it is 5 rupees per dollar, it will be charged from customer. If it is gain for a bank, it will be paid to customer. When there will be gain also, I can help you out. What is the contract rate? 100. The customer has cancelled the contract. And on maturity, the rate of purchase is say 95 instead of 105. Then there is a gain of 5 rupees for bank, which bank will pay to customer. See what bank will say, I was under a compulsion to purchase at 100 rupees. Now I can purchase at 95 rupees. I am having 5 rupees profit, which I will be refunding it to you. So this is how if it is done on maturity. If it is before maturity, before maturity, cancellation rate or the rate which is useful for cancellation will be again ask rate. I have explained you in detail. If it is a sale for customer, the rate which will be applicable is purchase rate. You can also go logically. But it is which day's rate on cancellation date, and which rate? Spot rate of cancellation date? No, it will be relevant forward rate. Let me explain you in simple terms. If the forward contract was of 6 months, if the cancellation is done after 4 months, which rate will be used? The rate which is on this date, on cancellation date. And which rate will be used on this date is 2 months of forward rate. This we have done. And this will be our base. Will be compared with contract rate. This two rate will be compared. You need to find out where, if it is loss to a bank, it will be charge from customer. If it is gain for a bank, it will be paid to customer. Last and third point, if it is cancelled after maturity. If it is cancelled after maturity. See what bank will do. Number one, on maturity. Bank was liable to purchase under this forward contract. Now this forward contract is cancelled. If this forward contract is cancelled, what bank will do is, it will take this position on maturity. It will purchase, because it might be already, it have already entered into sale contract with some other customer to set off the position. So bank will purchase on maturity. If you are cancelling it, bank will purchase from market in spot. And for taking that swap position, it will sell in forward. It will sell in forward. Is it correct? So, when it is sold in forward, try to understand, this customer might come anytime to the bank to sell their dollars. Then what bank will do? It has already sold it in forward, so that risk is hedged. Is it correct? On maturity, bank will be doing this swap. If there is any swap loss, it is recovered from customer. This customer. Number two, bank will say on maturity that because this contract is cancelled, we are purchasing from market on maturity. We are purchasing from market. There will be cash outflow. I might have already sold this dollar to some other customer in some other contract. I have sold to some other customer. There will be cash inflow. If there is a net outflow, bank is saying we will charge this net outflow. No, only interest on this outflow from this customer. Because this customer is not turning up on maturity, he might be 15 days, 20 days late. Then that 15 days, 20 days interest will be recovered by bank from that customer. Sorry. And number three is, bank will be charging this. Sorry. What will be compared? Cancellation rate. Ask rate on the date of cancellation will be compared with contract rate, and charges will be determined what customer will be paying to bank or bank will be paying to customer based upon profit or loss of the bank. This is how cancellation of forward contract works on maturity, before maturity and after maturity. Is correct. Next point that we learned in Forex was extension of forward contract. And believe me, it is not difficult as cancellation of forward contract. What you need to do for extension of forward contract? What is extension of forward contract? The forward contract was taken for 6 months. After 2 months, the forward contract is to be extended for total of 9 months. Alright. So, what is to be done? I am not writing even purchase and sale contract. There will be 2 steps. Is it alright? Number 1. Original contract will be cancelled. Now, if it is cancelled before maturity, this will be used. On maturity, this will be used. After maturity, this will be used. Whatever charges will be determined based upon cancellation. Is that right? And number 2, new forward contract will be taken at new rate. For that extended maturity. Is it alright? So bank will quote another rate for that due date, and that due date should be taken. Is it right? Who says it? It is a Foreign Exchange Dealers Association of India. This is who says that this should be done if there is an extension of forward contract. Is it a new forward contract should be at new rate, and original contract should be cancelled, and cancellation will be based upon these 2 things. So what questions were asked in examination, ICAI examination were this. After maturity, the contract was extended. So if after maturity contract is extended, you need to first cancel original contract based upon this. So all these 3 steps we have done. Is it alright? And then a new forward contract will be entered at new rate. Is it alright? This is extension of a forward contract. Whether it is purchase or sale, to the same process will be followed. Is it alright? There is nothing new in this. There are no charges for forward contract. So we are not going into detail as far as this revision is concerned. Is it alright? Number 12. It is premature settlement of forward contract. Premature settlement of a forward contract. Try to concentrate. What is premature settlement of forward contract? This was maturity. Let me write down whether it was purchase contract or sale contract. It was a purchase contract for customer, sale contract for bank. Was it alright? This was maturity. On this date, customer said that you settle the contract. So now customer wants that dollar on this date rather than this date. This was 6 months. This was 4 months. Start it. What bank will be doing? Please try to concentrate. Start it. Bank will give to customer dollar at contracted rate. So whatever rate contract was done, bank will be giving dollar on that rate only. Is it alright? At that rate only. On this date, bank will do one more thing. Try to concentrate. On this date, bank required the bank is having a sale contract of dollar on this date. Now that contract is cancelled. Now that contract is settled or cancelled. So no longer this contract is on this date. So bank will take a position as if the same contract happens on this date. So bank will do 2 months sale contract. Sorry, because this contract was required. The sale contract bank is already having. So it will in forward. So what it will do in spot, that is today, spot is today, 4 months spot. What it will do is purchase a dollar. What it will do it with purchase dollar, give it to customer. See, customer requires dollar today. That's all right. But customer is asking for dollar after 4 months, that is 4 months spot. That's all right. What bank will do, will purchase this dollar from the market and will take a swap position by taking 2 months a sale contract in forward. That's all right. This is a swap which bank will be doing at 4 months. And if there is any swap loss, it will be recovered from customer. Ultimately, it will be deducted, added to this. Not deducted, but added to this, because in this customer is purchasing. Swap loss will be recovered from customer if there is any swap loss. Number 2. The payment was to be made after 6 months. The payment is made at, the purchase of dollar was to be happening after 6 months. Now it is happening at 4 months. So at 4 months, what bank is doing? Again, it is at 4 months. What bank is doing? It is purchasing dollar for customer from market. So at market rate, this will be cash outflow. It is selling dollar to customer. It is cash inflow. If there is a net cash outflow, please understand, bank will charge interest only if there is outflow. Then on this outflow, this 2 months interest will be charged. 2 months, not full outflow. Interest will be charged on this amount from customer. So again it will be added, because customer is paying to purchase this dollar, and believe me, the delivery will be happening on settlement date. This is premature settlement of a forward contract, and this is the process which bank will do. Bank will say, okay, give me contracted rate. Number 2, also give me swap loss. Number 3, also give me interest on my cash outflow if any. Premature settlement of forward contract, if it is sale contract for customer, this type of question also we have done. 12A. Premature settlement of a forward contract. Let me write down some information. It is a sell contract of $1 lakh for customer. It is a purchase contract of $1 lakh for bank. The maturity was after 1 year. The customer comes to sell this $1 lakh. It might have received early at 3 months. So on this date, what bank will do? First try to understand. What bank will do? Bank will purchase this $1 lakh, because customer is selling. Bank will purchase this $1 lakh at contracted rate. But understand, bank was having this position for this date. So what bank will be doing is, will be taking same position for this date. So what bank will be doing, which position bank was having? Purchase, it will take a purchase position. Forward, so forward position, but not for 1 year, but for 9 months. This is 9 month duration. 9 months. Alright. Whatever rate is available, will take this position. You will tell me, sir, they are already having this position. No. Now this position will be settled on 3 months. The bank might have already entered into some sale forward at this time. Why? It was having a purchase forward at this time. They might have entered into sale forward at this time. And if they have entered into sale forward at this time, the purchase forward is cancelled. So they will enter into another contract which is of same time. Purchase forward for 9 months. Please understand, whenever there is swap, if this is purchase, this will be sale. Sale, but not in forward, in spot. How you can sell $1 lakh in spot? You are getting it from customer. Customer is selling to bank. Bank has received this $1 lakh, can sell in spot dollars. And if there is any swap loss, will be charged from customer. You can easily compare this two rate and find out whether there is a swap loss for bank or whether it is swap loss for customer. Number 3. What bank will say is, because you are coming to me after 3 months, this is what a swap bank will be doing after 3 months. Bank will be saying, because you have come to me at 3 months and the maturity is 1 year, at 3 months I needed to do 2 transactions which I normally will not do. That is, sale dollar in spot 3 months. That is a spot rate after 3 months. Is it all right? 3 months, and I will be receiving. Is it all right? And I have purchased from customer at 3 months. Try to concentrate. Purchase $1 from customer at contracted rate. This is from market. And there will be cash outflow. If there is a net outflow, what bank will do? Bank will charge this net outflow? No, only interest on this net outflow. If there is net inflow, bank will not charge any interest. If there is net outflow, bank will be charging interest for this 9 months period. So bank, what bank will do? Bank will pay this contracted amount to customer, deducting swap loss and deducting interest. Is it alright? So what bank will pay to customer? Is it alright? Let me tell you what bank will pay to customer. Is it alright? Contracted rate minus swap loss minus interest. Bank will pay for $1 lakh. In previous case, what bank will charge from customer? Now, as it is a charge, the charges will be added. Is it alright? Contracted price plus swap loss plus interest. Bank will charge for selling. Bank is selling dollars. This is premature settlement of forward purchase contract of customer. This is premature settlement of forward sale contract of customer. This is cancellation, extension and premature settlement of forward contract. Next, what we learned was letter of credit. It is 13 point. What is letter of credit? If me, Mr. Jai, wants a loan from USA Bank. This is a bank in USA. USA cannot take security from me. USA don't know my credit rating. USA don't know my credit history. USA don't know whether I have defaulted or not. Then what USA Bank will say? We are ready to give you a loan. If a bank, reputed Bank of India, say SBI Bank, gives a letter to USA Bank and this letter will be termed as letter of credit. What it will be written? If Mr. Jai does not repay, then SBI will repay the loan. Sir, it is contract of guarantee. The answer is yes. Why SBI will take this risk of giving this letter to Bank of USA? Because SBI will be charging commission from Mr. Jai. For SBI, if this loan is paid, it is non-fund based income. What is non-fund based income? There is no single rupee going out from SBI Bank. SBI Bank is just giving this letter of credit to USA Bank. This was concept of letter of credit. Then we went to nostro, lostro, and loro account. If some bank in India so this is a bank in India which is ICICI Bank is not having a branch in USA. This is a business entity. It can open a bank account in Bank of America. It is a bank in America. That's all right. The account will be in dollars because the bank is in America, branch is in America, the account is in America. It will be in dollars. Why ICICI Bank requires dollar? Understand. Some person in India might have come from USA and he is saying that I want to deposit my dollars into your bank account. ICICI want to deal in dollars. ICICI Bank might be having some importer customers where the payment in dollar is to be directly made in USA. If this is an account, bank will not have to send rupees to USA and it will be converted into dollars and then paid to that particular person. Bank can directly pay from its account in USA. Is it alright? This will be nostro account for ICICI Bank. This will be vostro account for Bank of America. What Bank of America will say? We are having a vostro account of ICICI Bank. What ICICI Bank will say? We are having nostro account in Bank of America. So this is just name of account, as if the name of account is saving account and current account. Alright. So this is nostro account, vostro account. The point is, what is the loro account? If this situation is to be used by some other bank in India, say Dena Bank. Dena Bank want to use this account of ICICI Bank to receive say $1 lakh. Then Dena Bank will guide to his customer that you deposit $1 lakh into this account. $1 lakh is coming over here. This account is of ICICI Bank, so this money will come over here. Not actually come, but it will be in account of ICICI. This is the American account, but it is of ICICI Bank. Is it right? And ICICI Bank will pay money to Dena Bank. So Dena Bank is neither having a branch in USA, neither having a bank account in USA. Dena Bank is using a bank account of ICICI Bank in USA. For Dena Bank, this account is nothing but which account? Loro account. Nostro, vostro, loro account. Last point that we did was global depository receipt or American depository receipt. That's it. Say a company in India. The company is a Tata. Want to issue share out of India, other than in America, out of India, say in Japan. There will be a depository bank in Japan. Where this Tata shares will be kept. Say these are shares. For each 2 or 3 shares or any number of shares, what a depository bank will do, it will say that this 3 shares is equal to 1 depository receipt. Denominated in dollars, denominated in US dollar, it will sell this into market of Japan. What does this mean? An investor in Japan will be having 1 depository receipt of Tata, which is equal to 3 shares of Tata. If the price of Tata increases, this depository receipt price will increase. If the price of Tata decreases, depository receipt price will decrease. If the dividend is declared by Tata company, it will be received by this Japanese investor. Except voting right, this is a investor of Japan directly investing or indirectly investing in an Indian company, which is Tata. This depository receipt, if issued other than in USA, it is known as GDR. If it is issued in USA, it is termed as ADR, which is nothing but American Depository Receipt. A chance of Tata company to issue its shares in other market other than India. Other people's, other investors in other countries is having chance to invest indirectly in a Tata company, whereby they are getting everything. They will be even getting capital gain. They will be even getting dividend. Just they will not be getting voting rights. This is nothing but last concept that we have learned in Forex, which is GDR and ADR.